Introduction to Peer Feedback and Peer Review. This is a learning activity that's been designed to try and help people improve their science writing. So this is the first time we've tried it with you guys. And the idea is that research says that if you actually undertake self and peer feedback, it will have a very high chance of improving how well you actually improve your science writing skills and how well you meet the criteria. So it's a worthwhile activity. There's a lot of research that's gone into finding out whether or not it's worth all the time and effort to make us do this, and it definitely is. So I'd suggest you give it a go. So peer feedback basically allows you to look at examples of other students' work and start to play the teacher, where you actually have to go through their work and look for evidence of the skill level they're demonstrating. Now, this isn't for you guys to do our job. We do this as well, but this is for you to see and start to understand what we're actually having to look for to give you a grade at this level. It also helps you to see how different people write the same thing in different ways, how well they communicate using scientific language, and also the different levels of quality that you can have for exactly the same answer. So let's take a look at how you can use this. This activity here is based on sedimentary and metamorphic rock writing that you have here. Okay, so this one you guys were asked to put in a hypothesis for the comparing sedimentary and metamorphic rock prac, and then you are asked to take this data here and answer these questions to try and analyse the data, analyse the reliability, and draw conclusions, interpret it, okay? You submitted those into Google Classroom, and then we took a selection of students across all different skill levels and put them into the peer review for feedback and for you guys to practice giving feedback on, okay? So you come into here, and I've sort of jumped ahead here, but the first thing you're asked is to pick a student, any student, okay? The higher level students, the ones that have shown a more detailed response, have 3 stars after them or 2 stars after them, but all of these students are ones who are showing a reasonable amount of effort that they've put into their science writing to meet the criteria. Now, here's their response on this student here for their hypothesis. Okay, they've given it a really decent go writing hypothesis. So their hypothesis was, what is going to happen to a sedimentary rock when we heat it up? What's going to happen to it, its strength and its hardness? And this student has written, when the rock's heat is increased, the pressure will increase and its hardness will increase. The high temperature can melt rock, but if there is pressure to keep the rock solid, then the chemical structure of the rock will change. If there is not a lot of pressure, then the rock may melt and re-solidify and turn into a completely new rock. So they've given me a really good detailed answer here. Not all of this meets what we need to have for a hypothesis, but going through these answers here will help you to see how they're doing what they've been asked and how they need to improve. So have they told me here how what we're measuring, the dependent variable, will change? Yes, they told me that the hardness will increase. Okay, so I've put a yes there. The next is, did they describe how the things that they were planning to change? So in this case, we plan to change the amount of heat, how it will affect a change in what they're measuring. So the example answer here is, when heat's increased, hardness will increase. Or when heat's increased, dispersal will reduce. It won't spread out as much. Have they met that criteria? Well, they've told me as heat's increased, the hardness will increase. So yeah, they've got that right. I think I put partially there before because I did have it slightly incorrect with that pressure one there, but overall they actually did tick it and get it right. They just had a little bit of stuff in between that needs to be addressed. Next one. Do they justify their prediction by talking about how the change, in other words heat in this case, will affect what we're measuring? Okay, I've just got those two words wrong there, but we'll fix it up later. Here's my example answer. When the heat is increased, the hardness will increase. This is because the particles in the rock will form more chemical bonds and bind tighter together. Have they explained it like that with scientific theory here? They've said if the pressure is there, the rock solid, to keep the rock solid, then the chemical structure would change. They've sort of started to get there. They know that the chemical structure is changing, but have they told me how it's going to help hold the rock together better? No, they haven't. They're getting there, but they're not quite there yet. So I might say they're partially getting into this, but they're not quite there yet. Okay? And that allows you to see what I'm actually looking for to give different levels of achievement. Now you keep going and doing that with the analysis and interpretation as well. So for every one of those questions that we had, I've given you their example answer, and you have to practice trying to see whether you can see this example in their work and giving them a rough score of what you think they match. As you go through and look at these different types of work, it'll really help you to figure out and see what we have to look for in order to give you certain grades. And after doing a couple of these, you should be able to go back then and try and improve your own work and see if you can get a better quality or detail in your writing that you can actually submit or go through self-review. So give it a go. Peer review, not a quick task, but it definitely helps you to see what we are needing to look for to mark your work. Good luck.